Hi everybody and welcome to today's live training session on public speaking. Today you'll learn how to boost your confidence and eliminate any anxiety or fear without resorting to the usual breathing exercises, positive affirmations and other techniques. Now, I usually don't record my live training sessions, but because I'm going traveling shortly, I actually decided to record this one. That way everybody can still benefit from this training. The reality is that most relaxation methods and breathing exercises are not that effective. It's a lot more efficient to focus on a system that integrates building confidence into the preparation of your presentations and speeches. That should come first. And if you still feel a bit anxious on the day of the presentation, only then should you try those quick fix relaxation methods. Today I'll show you how to do both. I'll be giving you a couple of my best and most effective methods. They're all pretty straightforward, easy and practical. Now, I don't want to take up too much of your time. The usual training session lasts somewhere between 20 to 30 minutes. I'll start off with a really short introduction so you get an idea of who I am. I'm Matthew, originally from Belgium, living in Australia at the moment. I'm a designer. I made a lot of presentations for designs and other implementations for companies, and I had to speak to a lot of boards and directors, or even just small teams, basically trying to convince them to implement a certain function or design into their company or website or their general brand. I had a lot of responsibility in that aspect. Now, I've gone through several public speaking courses that costed me up to $800 a pop, and they basically all said the same. They weren't really as revolutionary as I had hoped. I did get some use out of it, but way less than I thought I would. So I thought to myself, why not create my own system from my own experiences and my own research? I started this, I worked hard on it, I tested it beyond perfection, and that's basically where I am today. Now, this training is all about boosting confidence. Now, a lot of people, and some of you might recognize yourselves, have trouble speaking in public. The fear of speaking in public can completely cripple you, mind and body. I mean, you've got shaking, your mind goes blank, the fear takes over. Even a lot of experienced public speakers still get it, maybe not that much, but that anxiety still takes up space in their mind as they start their presentations. And that's space and brain power that could be way more useful doing other things like coming up with improv situational humor or just making them that more alert and into their speech. Now imagine being able to completely clear that anxiety space in your mind, being able to use that extra brain power to be that more alert, that more enthusiastic, energized, focused. It is possible, and I'll show you how. But let's start with a short recap of the absolute basics of speech writing. Whatever speech system you want to follow, there are 3 fundamental building blocks of every presentation. It doesn't matter if it's a thesis, a persuasive speech, or even a business meeting. You always need an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. First off, the introduction. The purpose of the introduction is to inform the audience of what you'll be saying or explaining or what problem that you'll be solving. Basically, why you are here and who you are or why they should listen to you. Then the body is obviously giving the audience the meat of the speech, whether be it a practical demonstration or solving a problem. This is where the main content lies. And the conclusion is where you repeat why you were here, you summarize your main points, and you provide a closing statement that gives them value. Preferably something that they can go home with and somehow apply to their own lives. This is called the rule of 3. And as you'll see here on my screen, it's pretty easy to remember. The introduction is tell them what you'll be saying, the body, tell them, and the conclusion, tell them what you just told them. Before we start with the confidence training, let me give you 2 quick tips that can save you a lot of time when you're writing a speech or presentation. Tip number 1. Use voice recognition software. Unless you can type faster than you can talk, this will dramatically speed up the process. And because you're now talking instead of typing, it'll be easier to adapt your style to write something that is meant to be heard and not to be read. Tip number 2, always start with a conclusion. It's a lot easier to start with what you want to achieve and work backwards from there. That way the rest of your speech will automatically revolve around trying to achieve that goal, which usually lies in the conclusion. Okay, now on to boosting confidence and eliminating anxiety. I've divided today's tips into 3 sections. Things to do in advance, so in the prep stage of the speech. Things to do or keep in mind on the day of the speech itself. Now, these are your usual relaxation techniques and breathing exercises. And how to deal with any anxiety that occurs during a speech. Let's start with the preparation tips. Tip number 1. Record yourself with a camera and analyze the footage to eliminate any distracting mannerisms like ums or weird hand gestures, facial tics. Basically, analyze, eliminate, repeat the speech, and analyze again. You'll find that per successful elimination of something weird that you do, you'll notice a significant boost in confidence. You'll be proud of yourself and have the drive to look for further weird mannerisms. And you'll want to eliminate them all. So record, analyze, improve, and repeat. Tip number 2. Try and use personal stories to make your point. They're easier to remember, easier for you to throw yourself into the story with more energy and emotion, and it makes you way more relatable to the audience. So where you can in your speech, try and implement a personal anecdote or story. It's also really easy to implement some humor this way. Which leads us to the next point. Use it. Humor not only makes the audience more relaxed, it makes you relaxed too. Humor can make difficult topics more accessible. It makes things more interesting. It makes the audience more responsive, and it will help you keep the audience attention. But more importantly, it increases your ability to persuade and influence the audience. And of course, it does a whole lot more. But beware that using humor effectively usually requires a lot of practice, which leads us back to the first tip. Record, analyze, and repeat. Next one, and I really love this one, always plan to finish early. Because that way you always know in the back of your mind that you have some flexibility time-wise. So you won't get a bit anxious when people keep asking questions or when there are delays. You know you have some extra time. And this naturally makes you more relaxed. I'm telling you, preparation is key in any public speaking event. Next up are 9 very effective tips and tricks to relax yourself on the day of the presentation. Tip number 1, familiarize yourself with the environment. This is a good reason to arrive early, so you can walk around and get comfortable with the layout. This way it won't be a completely new environment to get used to when you start speaking. Getting yourself oriented also takes up some space in your mind, and you don't want that when you're doing the introduction. You need all the brain power you can have. Tip number 2. People want you to succeed. Know that your audience does not want to see you fail. They want to get some value out of your presentation, and the only way they can get that is if you succeed. So remember that people are not looking for flaws. They're looking for value. Tip number 3. Know your audience. Find out who your audience is, what they expect, and how much they already know. This is another good reason to arrive early, to circulate with your audience before the speech. That way you get a better sense of who your audience is, and they'll immediately get more comfortable with you. More importantly, when you talk to people and finally get on stage and start your speech, you will see some familiar faces, and this will automatically boost your confidence and make you more relaxed. Tip number 4. do some breathing exercises. There are a lot of breathing exercises out there, but most of them only semi-work, and that's because they focus on relaxing the body, and they assume that the mind will follow. Sadly, this isn't always the case, so I recommend you try the following. Try doing some math. Yes, actually doing calculations. It's extremely boring in normal life, but it can be a lifesaver when you're in the middle of a panic attack. And if you combine this with some deep breathing, you'll definitely get some quick results. I mean, the maths distracts your mind and the breathing calms your body. It is the perfect distraction. Tip number 5. Remind yourself why you're here. You have a message, you have a goal, you have a purpose. This can actually get you excited about the topic and distract you from being nervous. Tip number 6. Most people are oblivious. Most people in the audience won't even realize that you are nervous. They're way too busy thinking about themselves or wondering how the information relates back to their life. Seriously, it's true. No need to get anxious because they won't notice anyway. Tip number 7. Always overdress. This is pretty self-explanatory. When you look good, you feel good. Tip number 8. Establish yourself as the expert. Make sure you prepare this well. And as you're talking about your own accomplishments, again your confidence will rise, and that's because you're hearing yourself talk about all the things you achieved in your own life. Tip number 9. The elastic band. Wear an elastic band around your wrists. This is a very powerful technique that not a lot of people use. Just wear an elastic band, and when you start to feel anxious or you feel that the fear is setting in just before you get on stage, just twang the band hard against your wrist. It will usually hurt enough to take your mind away from the anxiety. Try it and thank me later. This really works. Of course, there's always a possibility that anxiety will come up while you're doing your presentation. Although this can be prevented through enough practice and preparation, in case you do start to feel anxious, here are some tips to suppress those feelings. Number 1, your voice starts to quiver. If this happens, you can just pause for a second, breathe deeply, and if possible, force a smile. Smiles are incredibly powerful, and even if you force one, your mind associates the simple act of smiling with happy feelings. Number 2, your hands start trembling. If this happens, simply put them together. This will raise the temperature of both your hands and makes them a bit more mellow and relaxed. Tip number 3, your knees start shaking a bit. If this happens, just shift your weight, start walking, flex your knees, so basically get them moving. But the number 1 thing that can boost your confidence through the roof is having a proven system in place. Like I've mentioned before, preparation is key in public speaking, and most people don't even think about searching for a proven system. But when you have a process for creating presentations, a process that you can actually trust, you'll not only be able to deliver an outstanding presentation, but your confidence will be through the roof because you just know that the system works. That's exactly why I've created the SpeechMad system. It can make anybody into an effective and impressive public speaker. My system can show you how to captivate and influence any audience every single time. It's basically a no-nonsense online membership course that will teach you a proven step-by-step method for creating the perfect speech or presentation. And you can easily adapt the material to use it for small business meetings or even job interviews. The goal here is to give you one system that can serve you for life. Here are just some of the things that SpeechMad will teach you. First off, the one question that should be the foundation of every speech. You'll learn how to easily make a strong emotional connection with your audience, actually makes them care about what you say. You'll learn how to practice your speech the right way. You'll learn what gestures to avoid and how to use new ones to empower your speech. You'll learn how to prepare the perfect introduction that grabs the audience before you even walk on stage. You'll also learn how to create incredible slides by following 2 simple rules. You'll learn how to never again lose the attention of your audience. You'll learn how to end every presentation with a certified bang. You'll also learn the one technique that will eliminate your fear of public speaking forever. This is an extremely powerful technique, and it's actually one I did not reveal in this free training session. This is one I keep just for the SpeechMad members. Now, you'll also learn the 4 layers that every speech should have. Now, these are extra layers that can make even the dullest of speeches entertaining. You'll of course learn how to design the perfect cue cards that will maximize your efficiency. A lot of public speakers don't even think about the design of their cue cards, but it can make a huge difference. We'll also go over why a Q&A session can make or break your reputation and how to deal with it. You'll also learn how to execute a successful impromptu speech in 7 simple steps. You'll learn all this and much more. I even give you a list of solutions to problems that nobody ever prepares for. For example, how to respond to that one guy that just keeps asking questions. Or how to respond if someone is getting a bit hostile towards you. I also have an entire chapter dedicated to humor, because humor, as I said before, can greatly increase your ability to persuade and influence the audience. It's really powerful stuff. Now let me show you how the SpeechMad site looks on the inside. This is inside the members area, and this is your dashboard. As you can see on the left, we've got all our lessons or chapters. They're basically 12 chapters of step-by-step info on crafting the perfect speech. It's everything from preparation to delivery through to running a Q&A session post-presentation. Now, most of the material is in PDF format. There are also worksheets with the most important tips to keep in mind and questions to ask yourself, and I've created extremely powerful mind maps for each lesson to help you visualize the speech structure. All the materials are located on this membership site where members get lifetime access to. That's right. I did this so you can access the material whenever and wherever you want. Plus, as a bonus, you'll get any future SpeechMad lessons and updates for free. And I put in some pleasant surprises too. Let me just go into one lesson here. Let's choose lesson 2. Writing the first draft and practicing your speech. First off, you'll notice this nice schematic here. That is the SpeechMad speech structure. I've highlighted the elements that you'll be covering in this lesson. Every lesson is accompanied by a zip file, and inside the zip file you always have a main PDF with the main material. You'll have a worksheet, a mind map, and sometimes I put in some nice bonuses. In this case, it's a PDF on vocal exercises, or how to make your voice sound really powerful. Now, lesson 2 is also the first lesson where you receive an unannounced bonus. In this case, it's the SpeechMad Memory Guide. This is a guide on how to efficiently memorize anything you want. And this is not only for public speaking purposes. You can apply it to other aspects of your life. It's really handy stuff. Now let's go back here and check out another lesson. Let's go to lesson 1. Right, lesson 1 contains a little bit more actually. So lesson 1 is the course overview, how to research your speech and how to prepare your outline. Now in the zip file of lesson 1 you'll have of course your course overview, then again the main PDF, the worksheet and the mind map, and you'll get my personal list of sites where you can get free high quality stock photos. And as a bonus to this lesson you get a body language guide on how to understand and read the subtle nuances of body language. So that's how each lesson is structured. I'll quickly go over the lessons now. So you've got lesson 1 is the course overview, the research, and how to prepare your outline. Lesson 2 is all about writing your first draft and practicing your speech. Lesson 3 covers the introduction. Lesson 4 is all about slides and PowerPoint magic. Lesson 5 covers the conclusion. Lesson 6 is about the juice layers, aka those 4 layers that can make even the dullest of speeches entertaining. Lesson 7 is all about eliminating anxiety. Lesson 8 will teach you how to do a proper Q&A session. In Lesson 9 you'll learn how to anticipate Murphy's Law, or how to find solutions to problems you probably wouldn't have thought of. In Lesson 10 you'll learn how to design and create the perfect cue cards. Lesson 11 is all about humor, and Lesson 12 will teach you how to do a perfect impromptu speech. And that's just a small overview of what SpeechMad will teach you. Let me just go back to the slides. Now, as you probably know, public speaking courses these days go from several hundred to a couple of $1,000 for a course. When I first thought about creating SpeechMad, I promised to myself I'd make it accessible to everybody. And as I'm not in the habit of breaking promises, I priced my course at $99. But because I always reward action takers, everybody attending or watching this training session is getting a $42 discount. So that's only $57 for lifetime access to everything. Here's a URL where you can get that discount, and that's my offer for you today. Now, for those of you watching the recording of this, I'll put a button under this video that goes to the special discount page. If it doesn't appear, no worries, you can still just manually type in the URL in your browser. Now, I'll leave this slide open until the end of the training, so till after the Q&A session. Now, does anybody have any questions? Okay, Simon says thanks for the training, no worries. Andy's already in. Okay, well, thanks for buying. Welcome to SpeechMad. Bart says thank you for the training, no worries. Robert asks, alright, Robert asks if I can give more examples of problems you wouldn't see coming. Okay, I can definitely do that. Let me think for a moment. Okay, what if your time window gets cut from 60 minutes to 30 minutes? That's always a fun one. Or what if you get there and only 5 people showed up when you expected at least 50? What if everybody is playing with their laptops and smartphones and nobody is really paying any attention? How do you get that attention back? What if you completely ran out of time and one audience member asks a really complicated question? What do you do? So yeah, there are a lot of things that can go wrong. And by the way, you can find all those problems and their solutions in SpeechMad chapter number 9, aka Anticipating Murphy's Law. Hope that helped. Any other questions? Alright, Steven is in. Welcome to SpeechMad. Lisa, no worries, no worries. Happy to do it. Jason also says thank you. Again, no worries. And Samir, am I pronouncing that right? Samir? Yes, so you can just copy the address speechmad.com/. Yes, you can just copy that into your browser address and go to there. That should take you to the discount page. Any more questions? Okay, Bart, see you later. Thanks for joining. Lisa, see you later. Thanks. Jason. Nikita. Again, no worries. See ya. Vikram, glad you joined us. Okay, people are starting to leave. Cool, so if nobody has any more questions, I think I'll call it a day. Thanks everybody for joining, and I hope you learned something and have a better understanding of how to eliminate anxiety when speaking in public. And of course, I hope to see you on the inside of SpeechMad. Also, don't forget that this discount link is temporary, so grab it while you can. See you later, everybody.